Greetings everyone, my name is Napoleon Complex, and today we are returning to the fields of Megiddo, this time as the Egyptians. Here's the blurb if you want to read it about it. And let's go. So I've decided not to go for the skirmish first today as we missed the battle last time. I'm going to get straight into the historical battle. So very similar setup to the problem that the Syro-Canaanites had in their version of this Deity battle. They have a much larger and wider chariot. Well, they have a slightly larger chariot force, which represents our best chance of actually winning the battle. And we have the defensive advantage of the slope because the chariots will come forward eventually. We have a much smaller infantry force. What I'm really hoping for is that part of this infantry force will get distracted by the chariot battle. That will draw enough of them off that this group can defend themselves. So what we want to do early on, I think, is get our skirmishers over to here. I have won this battle once before. I lost the first time I tried it, and then I decided just to have a go off camera. Pressure's off me, and I can see what I can do. So what we're actually going to do, because last time when I tried it on camera, I ended up losing because this unit got disrupted by early archer fire. What we're going to do is we're going to move him back onto this square here, and I'm going to pull this archer unit back to here. They're going to fire from this point up here. So we're going to position archers here, and we're just going to try and hold this ridge where we have the 75 height advantage. There's not much I can do about this spot here, as it doesn't give me the same elevation, but at least we will have some protection here. We can be attacked from here normally. As for the chariot battle, we have to think very, very carefully about what we're doing here. Because we ultimately want to fight the enemy on the hill. Now what that means is that we are probably going to want to... I'm going to take a different approach to the one I took at on the Syro-Canaanite side of this battle. I'm going to... Just thinking for a second about the implications. I actually want to pull this flank back a little bit, and my reasoning for that is that I want to be able to use the hill. I do not want any of my units fighting the flat ground. So as you can see, we've got these kinds of gap, which means this flank is going to be pushed forward, so we need to emphasize it. So we're defending the ridge line almost as a religion at this point. I'll start to push these chariots around as well, trying to get some fire advantage by doing this. We'll move that chariot in there to reinforce. Okay, so the idea is to kind of fold on the flanks while we hold the ridge. This is the most exposed unit, so I'll give them the general. Now this group over here want to make for this hill here, but we want to avoid provoking this army until we absolutely have to. So I'll pull these units, let's say pull these units. These guys can go straight to here. And these guys can go. These guys go to here. These units start to move off in this direction, and we can do this for most of the group. However, for these Ammon archers, for this group here, they probably want to start swinging towards the hill soon. So move like that. Move them across and across. We want to be able to use our time efficiently here. Unfortunately, a little bit of inefficiency for the archers. They have to move like that. But time is of the essence because this army will start to move. So I'll swing the Egyptian guard round in this direction as well. So we're hoping to slip up onto the hill before they can do anything about it. And as for the archers, now I would actually like to send the archers here. It might seem like they would do better taking part in the chariot fight. You know what, on balance, I think that's actually not a bad idea. We'll keep them here and we'll use them to support our chariots, because they could help with this area, but I don't think they're critical. We will need all hands on deck though here, because this, even with the hill advantage, this will be a tough fight. I don't think there's anything else left to do. We've obviously got the chariots to consider, but no, other than that, everything's set to go. So that subtle move forward also meant that I triggered the enemy chariots to start advancing. And handily, it looks like they're going to forego first strike advantage. We were lucky that units held firm so far. Of course, if they keep taking arrow fire, they'll take a more difficult cohesion test. And I need to look out for that unit now because it's been quite severely weakened. Now I should be able to bring these archers into it without provoking the enemy's skirmish line. So we'll use them to support our fire here. Let's see. See, ideally I'd like to get a stationary fire on them, but it might come to moving forward. I think we'll just take the stationary fire then. That's because of the cohesion test. And the problem with moving around like this is, let's fire here, see if we cause the cohesion test. Right, we'll hit them with half arc fire and that, yep, another cohesion test. So hopefully next turn we'll be able to start really bombarding these units. Now that unit is concentrating on this group here. So what we probably want to do is to shelter them a little bit. Start to put, well, and then they've got the, right, we need to show a little bit of discipline here. Fire at them here. Fire at them here. Yeah, I want to focus on these units that are threatening my already weakened soldiers. I managed to score disruption there. And fire at them as well. Okay, unfortunately they've held firm. But that's now starting to put more pressure on these units. Some of my units are now concentrating their fire. Now here, where the enemy have kind of overbalanced themselves, well, let's move around. We'll hit them from the flank here. And I'll drop my chariots into position. We shouldn't take... I really don't like that stationary fire. But we're going to end up taking it anyway, so my suggestion would be that we move here. And now I can bring all guns to bear upon these two units. We got a little bit unlucky with our range of fire there. Probably not worth the ammunition, if I'm honest. Let's see. With that number of casualties they've taken, we might force a stronger cohesion test. No dice. Okay, so... yeah, keep this gap open because I want to move cavalry forces forward, I think, here. In fact, let's just bring them up because it may attract some attention away from this corner unit. Plus it allows me to do this. To absolutely zero effect. Right, next let's have a look at the infantry situation, and all we're doing here is setting up. So these archers are going to move up onto the ridge here once the opportunity arises. And these guys are going to cover this flank here. But eventually they'll move on to the promontory. In the meantime, this unit's probably the most exposed. I'll give them the general to help their morale. Right, now we get to another important part of the battlefield. Keep them in line and move to here. Just try to avoid attracting the enemy's attention. So we want to move as fast horizontally as possible, and we also want to get the archers behind the infantry. You can see we're starting to form a battle line. trail the archers behind us. And the Egyptian guard will get there when they get there. Right, have I forgotten anyone? No one I can actually use this turn. Let's go. Good, they kind of threw away the fire. Yeah, that disruption's going to hurt us, of course. I couldn't stop that cohesion test. We have drawn fire. We have managed to prevent this unit from getting too badly shot up. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Right, first things first. We can't move forward because of them. I'll move forward to here because I'm going to charge with this unit anyway. Fire at this group. You know what, come forward again. And fire at them again. Okay, cause the cohesion test. I was hoping for a disrupt. And again. I really hit them. Okay, so they're now going to take the worst cohesion test they can take. See if we can. We're in a pretty good position to disrupt this group. Alright. Given the situation, hit them as hard as possible. The thing is, of course, that might start the fight here. Keep that unit to there. Well, I think at this point we just moved the skirmishers into position. I can also bring this unit into the firefight. So we've managed to disrupt 2 of their units here, but of course I'm in trouble here. But of course, all of that was in service of, well, general up to make sure they evade here and charge. They've got nowhere to go, and that should break them instantly. I'm hoping it didn't work. I was obviously hoping to spread a little bit of panic here. Highly superior troops. There wasn't a great chance, but there was at least a chance. So I had to try, I felt. Now, some last minute adjustments. This unit's now in a rather bad 2-on-1 situation, so we need to look at situations on the battlefield where we can get an advantage here. And what I'm thinking is this unit here is perfectly set up for a flank attack. Right, first of all, shoot at this group here that we're directly facing. And then you're going to have to amend your facing so that we don't end up getting flanked. And shoot. Let's see. We can either go for the high risk strategy or the low risk strategy. The low risk strategy is to pepper these units with arrows and just try and cause disruptions. The high risk strategy is, and then I charge in here with 1 unit and set up a flank attack. That means I've only got 1 melee that can go wrong. The high risk strategy is I charge in absolutely everyone after firing at the stronger of these 2 units. I'll do that just now. And then everyone charges in and we try and set up a flank attack. That wraps the entire line. You know what? I'm feeling daring. So we set up the flank. Turn away for just a moment, because I don't want them evading us. Okay, we're locked into melee there. And we've got all along the line, so now we turn and if that unit breaks, everything breaks. Now what that does is it frees up a lot of my firepower, which means I can turn and fire like so. And we're going to hit them with everything here. So look at this situation. This is obviously the worst situation. Because next, they've got so many units pointed towards them that if I don't move, it's very likely that they're going to auto-break. And if I charge into melee and they don't retreat, then all that's going to happen is they're going to charge, so we're going to lose in melee. And I've kind of sealed them in with my skirmishers, haven't I? Backing off is a really bad idea. Charging into melee is probably a nicer fight for our troops than waiting to get shot to pieces. And I'll turn my chariots across like that so we're covering this line of fire. These, at least we're keeping these chariots honest here. Right, moving across to this side of the battlefield, we just continue to run up the hill. And we will do so in formation. To actually move our, because we need to cover against those enemy lights. We basically want our skirmishers to hold the left-hand side to give our troops some cover. And so far, we've been fairly successful in getting up the hill without drawing the enemy's attention. That may be about to change in a big way. Just using my skirmishers to screen my force. That is, of course, what they're for. Right. We're finished setting up here. So the reason I have to set, well, I wonder. No, this is about as good as it's going to get. That's why I don't want to start the fight with this group until I absolutely have to. This wing is our weakest wing. We want to lie here as much as possible. Just check for any units I haven't used. Okay, that's fine. Go. I was expecting that. Yeah, that's really not good for us. But wakey wakey, it stayed wakey, and that's the danger of charging into melee like that to try and get flank attacks. Still, we've held them so far. Now, if we can win these melees quickly enough, we'll take everything from them here. And looking at the situation as it is, I think it's time to try another battle, to try for another flank attack, because we're losing slowly in the centre here. But if we can get some flank attacks on this front, on this sector, then we can win quite handily. Right, charge, make a normal charge to make sure that we actually get into melee, and then general up to make sure that we have an advantage in the ensuing melee. I want this group, can you move and turn? Yes, that's exactly what I needed you to do, because you need to cover this sector here. Check out what happens here, because we may force them back, or we might be forced back ourselves. Now that's still stable. Now, let's see. My archers aren't quite in position to take advantage of that situation. I should have moved them up first, because I could have caused a cohesion test there. Move them up into position. We're not going to waste our arrows just yet. But I am, of course, going to turn and threaten to fire, to charge here. And obviously this situation is pretty dire. 82%. And that... Right. Melee up here. That's a loss on impact. Which means we're still trapped. That is really... Now I've really been messed up. Because I was going to move out to try and set up a flank attack here. So this is pretty much That might have lost me the entire sector. Staying here and getting shot up is not to our favour. Charge into melee here, and that will hopefully protect this entire... That's not what we wanted. Okay, that was pretty abysmal luck, I've got to say. Since I'm not going to be able to set up the charge there, as they're just going to block it. Wait, maybe not all is lost. I can't move to this square here, which is what I wanted. But I might be able to move to this square here. Now, if we turn around, we'll be able to threaten to come back to this section. Charge here and pray. This just isn't my day today, is it? Come on. Right, charge them then. That was appalling luck. You could have at least had the decency to drop back. Turn to there, maybe we'll set up, they'll set up some kind of drop will end up getting set up when they break and if they crash into these chariots. God, what an awful turn that was. They are getting quite low here. It's better than getting shot to bits. Right, we now need to hope that we win on the right because we need to save our left. And I'm going to have some strong words with my cavalry generals after this, with my chariot generals after this. Right, let's see. We want to base... Thinking about this, we want to exploit the 75 height, of course. So we've got 3 units roughly, and the guard will probably be okay with just a normal height advantage. So we're aiming to set up along this line here. And it looks like we've done it. Oops, careful, we don't want them on our case just yet. Right. And we're all set up here. Just check for any stragglers. Say we're good to go. Just as the final nail in the coffin, the enemy gets a rally. The enemy completely ignored the threat from those Ammon chariots. Ah, that went exactly as planned. That's critical. Which unit goes first here? There we go, right into their flanks as envisioned. And yes, that's going to hurt us, but it's going to hurt them a lot more when I go into their flanks right now. Okay, so they're fragmented, they're disrupted. That's all going my way. Now let's take a look at the rest of the battlefield. We probably want... well, thing is they... Oh right, they're all in melee. Okay, just see how this turns out. They've already had their turn. And of course we are definitely going to take this flank attack here. They've held firm there. So things are looking very good over here on the right. That unit isn't going to last much longer unless we can find a way to protect our flanks. Hang on. Another horrible impact that we held. If we can break this unit, there's a chance that we'll carry through and smash into their flanks. I think it's worth a try. Nope. Okay. How? Right. You're going to have to pull back. That gets rid of the flanker threat, which means this unit might not evade immediately. But I am, well, let's see. So of course I could go for another flank attack, but what I think I need to do is move to block them here. First things first though, make sure that I understand what's actually going to happen here. Right, this unit hasn't broken suddenly, that's good for us. We need to ensure some stability here, so I'm just going to move to here just to block them. And of course we'll take our chance to fire, since at this point causing casualties is actually important. Now this chariot unit here is a threat, and they're also pursuing. What to do is hover the skirmishers over them. So if they stop moving, we can immediately attack. Because I'm not actually going to go after them yet. I'm just going to hover here. I'm just going to menace them. And this group is really just here to keep these Mariani chariots honest. Let's take a look. I've still got some other options to consider. Right, since they are being kept under control and this fight so far is going our way, why don't I turn and at least threaten at this angle? Because there may be a chance that something will happen that will allow me to actually take this flank attack. Shoot them with a half arc as well. Okay. And we do have this unit as well to consider. I can't hit because of the angle on the hill. Can they shoot from there? Good, right. Let's go for a lucky disruption. Couldn't even cause the cohesion test. Take a tab around. Okay, I think it's just this group, the infantry force now, to consider. I'm still working out whether or not I want to advance forward with that unit. It might be worth letting the enemy get distracted. So since we want to be here, we probably want to position our skirmishers around this area of the battlefield. Not too happy with our positioning there, actually. We want to shift them one to the left. Because our archers will want their position on the hill to be able to shoot over the heads of our Ammon spearmen. Excellent. Okay, so far that has been textbook. Right, next turn. It's going cautiously well. I am cautiously optimistic at this point. Furious for my charioteers on the left. Other than that, I'd say things are going good. And they've opened up their flanks there. I think the enemy should be in command. I think they're just handling their forces very poorly. Yeah, the left has now started to move. So this is. We'll see how many troops end up going towards my chariots, but too many move towards my line here. This is basically a delayed death sentence. Oh, a little detail there, they've got the Canaanite camp. I don't think it actually does anything. Ah, not what I wanted. I wanted them to stay and get hit in the rear. In fact, this could actually be a problem for us. Sure, you can see it. There's going to be enough trained eyes in the audience. That, on the other hand, is excellent. Right, see it. Well, hold on a second. I don't think it's very likely that this group is going to move off in that direction, but hopefully that won't be a problem soon. And you know what? Yeah, let's just charge in here. We might manage to get a flank attack on this group as well. Do I want to do anything with the archers? In fact, you know what? I can actually improve the chances of that happening. Move the archers to here, and they can't flee directly back. They've only got that square to move into. That's it. That might still. Well, yeah. What do I move to here? It really depends, because obviously we don't want them to move in that direction. I'm trying to think if I've got a few more units, I might be able to manipulate the route here. Problem is, I don't have a few more units. Right, we'll move to here, as them running in that direction would be disastrous for us. Let's take the break here. Oh, the health farm anyway. Well, that was anticlimactic. Okay, they've just stopped here, exactly as planned. We will bombard them with javelins. I am aware of the light foot coming up in my rear, but you know what, the heavy battle is more important. Right, the order in which these units break will be important because I want to protect my flanks. Actually, there's not actually a lot of great options there, because I do want to take this flank attack. And obviously my units here are having their flanks threatened. Okay, this unit is going to get flanked. It is being threatened with a flank attack anyway, so the main thing is that this unit doesn't blunder into a flanking opportunity as well. I don't really see another option, to be honest. Oh god. And they held on anyway. Right, that means they are going to turn their flanks next turn. So they are probably doomed. Now I could gamble on these chariots going after these Mariana chariots, and then that would allow me to go into the flanks of that unit next turn. I feel like I'm at this point just gambling with my soldiers' lives. Sorry if there's a lot of humming and hawing there, but it's nice to have all these choices. Hold on a second. Turn and fire. It's a health farm. Because if I can get on this line here, I can flank them. Right, you know what, move to here and just bombard them with arrows. We fragmented them. That I couldn't have known that before time. Had I not fragmented them, they could have flanked that unit, and the rest would have been history. But what I can do next turn is I can start to move the threat in the flank here, if we can hold that melee long enough. Right, now this situation has kind of changed things, because I am going to lose here eventually. this unit is going to eventually fragment. So this is my last chance to try and, this is possibly my last chance to try and rescue this unit. However, if I take the flank attack here, they will flank my chariots next turn. In fact, they might do so anyway. I'm going to try, no, because they are threatened. Well, we're in, fine, you know what? I'm going to hit them here. But we're going to get flanked there anyway. That was probably the wrong decision in hindsight. Try to at least disrupt this unit that's threatening us. Couldn't even cause the cohesion test. And right. Well, things are as they are. I think things are still going fairly well. Can our archers open up yet? At least start to hit those skirmishing archers that are coming up at us. Because we're not, believe me, we're not going to have time to use all of our archers here anyway. We'll soften up those skirmishers as well. And yeah, just leave things as they are there. Here things are interesting because of course the enemy has started to move here. Yep, move forward and start harassing them in the stream. And we'll move into our combat positions. This unit has to push a little bit further down the stream, down the hill, so that these archers can fire. As you can tell, I'm quite practiced at this by now. Unfortunately, they passed their cohesion tests. Let's see if we can get at the Syrian spearmen as well. We won't break them, but we will start to soften them up. And the Egyptian guard can be ready to take up their positions next turn. Pull back so that we're holding the hill against them. Is it worth going out to try and cause a cohesion test against their light javelin? You know what, it will help to keep them away from the hill, so nah, it's not worth it. So let the enemy come to us here. Right, exceptional amount of umming and ahhing, and I'm not sure I made the right decisions here, so we'll just see how this turns out for us now. We're about to take a few flank attacks. They're going to go. If that disruption hadn't happened, I could have gone for their flank. Now I'm going to have to rescue them. Oh good, thank you for rescuing us. That was the one move they could have made that would not have resulted in me getting flanked. However, that unit's still in a ton of trouble. Those archers are of course going to be a problem. See, as I said, there's no way we're going to be able to... Well, we might actually beat that, because they haven't sent too much away. That was a stupid evasion path, wasn't it? And we managed to block the guard. So losing a skirmisher unit this early in the fight is going to hurt us, and you can see that the rout percentage is starting to creep up in their favour again. Good. 2 disruptions will obviously work in our favour. And we're carrying along. Fantastic. There weren't good odds for that. We were very lucky to see that happen. They've broken. Oh, this could end up being a very good turn for us. I can't believe they folded as well. That was incredibly lucky. Oh my. Okay, so yeah, this is something I've learned as well. You have to start getting a little bit aggressive. You can't just stand there passively. Now we do have that threat to worry about. I'll bring this. Hold on a second. What's this force's options? Okay, bring them to there and just block that unit in. Because what that does is it gives this unit here freedom to charge. And they're going to go into them. Unfortunately, it was a pretty poor flank charge. Finish off the chariots here. That'll be on auto break. And then just turn around and you're going to have to prepare to defend yourselves. We'll catch that unit in the fire trap. I expect the light javelin there will block me. Now here we've got more important decisions to make, because if they manage to disrupt my archers, then that could be a problem. However, I don't think I can fire at these units. We have to focus on disrupting those advancing Syrian spearmen. Now they will take horrific casualties from the archers, but there's so many of them massed up. But we managed to get the disruption. Okay, so that unit has now been stopped in its tracks. Now general up with the prey archers. They are by far the most exposed units in this theatre. Managed to fragment them there. This is obviously not going our way. Let's take the one fight where we have an advantage and we couldn't even win. Right, there's still a chance that we'll miraculously manage to hold out against all of these different threats. Now they did the best they could. I can't fault my men there. Can't move that unit. That's a shame, because I might have been able to go after these Marianu chariots. But you know what? Next turn, that is definitely an option. So we'll move up and trap them now. And these guys are completely free. They can do what they want. Right, let's take a look. There's not that much left of the Canaanite chariot force. So we've got one more unit here. We've obviously got this situation here, which I probably don't want to get involved in, to be perfectly honest. Because there's 3 chariots and massive infantry supporting them. I'm going to leave that decision till last. Let's turn our attention to the situation over here. So we can see that we've got Syrian spearmen coming up on our units here. But they should have some protection here, because they'll be walking into a flanking situation. So I'm instead going to focus my arrow fire on this. Well, first of all, let's deal with the fact that the interlopers are currently coming up the hill at us. So we'll charge in here and try and drive them back. Okay, and since we're here, we'll hit them here as well. Right. You stay on station. Hit them with everything you've got. In fact, actually what we'll do here is I'll turn to face and protect that square. They passed their cohesion tests. Right, next unit I'm going to target is this group of irregulars. Now, it's a shame that all of my skirmish foot got driven off, because now I'm going to have to use a unit of bowmen to hit these irregular foot and try and cause a disruption, because they are quite dangerous to my Ammon archer. Managed to disrupt them there. Now, can we go for the disrupt from the Syrian spearmen? No, we couldn't. Okay, so not everything going our way there, but things are going well enough. I'm feeling optimistic still. Now, the skirmishers will pile on the pressure, and that's one of the things that's concerning me. But remember that this unit does have some armour, so they have some protection against the missiles. Now, based on how this is going, we have chariots in the fight, but I think we're going to need the help over here. Start moving in this direction here, and I'll move this unit directly over to here. And we'll send the skirmishers in this direction as well. We're going to have to prepare to go into the final phase of this battle. We're obviously not going to go charging down the hill, that would be suicide. Our chariots might be able to get into the archers, that would be extremely good for us. Great, that means we're going to get it with both barrels. They couldn't even beat us when they had the advantage. They're charging into melee, but oh god, we actually lost an impact. Which means I'm no longer going to be able to easily break those fragmented units. They held firm, that's all I needed them to do. Yeah, that unit's getting pretty beaten up though. Now they can't even back off safely. Good. So they're now fighting uphill, that will help, and they've taken casualties. That will help us. Interesting, they're actually moving these forces away. That improves our chances over here considerably. They've just moved into a death sentence. Probably quite an intelligent decision to go after our lights. But of course, if we can fragment those archers, I might be able to frighten them. We broke through there, but we're moving in the wrong direction. Oh! Hello! %. We are stuck. The enemy army is starting to show serious cracks. There's actually a good chance they're going to auto-break themselves. Like, can we? No, we no longer even have a chance there. Right, we set up this fire trap. Let's use it. Good disruption, and try and get the slingers to evade. Good. Now we have control of this situation here. Move past them here and set up our archers. Let's see, take the general and charge. And then we'll set up a flank. You guys move forward. You can start to threaten the enemy's archers from the rear. Yeah, we can start to threaten the back of the enemy's formation. We're not going to win over here. In fact, I think all these guys did achieve was go to their deaths. See how this goes. If we lose this, okay, we have 2 extra flanking opportunities here. That will help keep things in our favour, even as we start to finally lose our left. Let's just get the horrors over with. Nothing like having an entire screen filled with you getting your ass kicked. Right, we have this unit pretty much on the run. I think we have to try and fall back here. They managed to hold firm. That's good. I say hit. Let's see. Can we hit that? We can't shoot that unit anyway. Turn to face here so they have to charge up the hill at us. And then let's see if we can fragment this unit so that we're no longer concerned with it. Excellent. So I think going downhill, yeah. We're going to win that with the general or not. Disrupted the archers again, thank goodness for that. And We'll give them the general. Obviously, I'm not actually going to go charging down the hill at them. I'm a little bit worried that we might get disrupted, but well, there's not much I can do about that. Right, and we've got these charioteers here to stop pursuing. Well, we can bring all of these forces to bear. We actually have a decent chance against what remains of the enemy chariot force. Obviously, I want to act on that before all of this arrives. Now, over on this flank, things are again looking pretty good. We are... Right, that's a half arc. Just taking note of my firing options. That doesn't change anything, does it? Nope, good. The guard are well positioned. Right, that would be a bad idea even if I wanted to go for it. If the skirmishers die, the skirmishers die. It's kind of their job. Never be a skirmisher in my army. I treat my skirmishers like dirt. Okay, they've disrupted. That's fantastic news for us. Right, couldn't cause a cohesion test. We do have a threat moving up on us. And no, it's not just the fact that I'm slowly losing the skirmish. That unit of close fighters will eventually get around our flanks. Let's start to harass them now. I think I have to try and win the battle in front of me before they get around my flank. That'll be. If you ever find yourself saying the words "we have to win the battle quickly," you're in trouble. Other than that, I think we're ready to move. Please stop chasing things. You should probably have kept chasing things. Ah, stop coming back to the battle. Who would want to come back to this? Mind you, they are fighting for their city and basically their continued survival, so I can't really blame them for that. Okay. But we are now going to take a lot of arrow fire. Ouch, one volley was enough to do that. Okay. Yeah, fat chance. That's the guard. This is going really well. This is going beyond my wildest expectations so far. Bye-bye. Served as well. I really can't deny that. They held out as long as they possibly could. No, that let the team down a little bit. At least they didn't break off. Right, we have to do some thinking over here, because what we have to realise is that this battle is basically over. The enemy have broken through on the left, and it's really just a question of... So this unit will evade. Or we could try and charge that unit and see what, because they might end up in this unit's charge path. I think that's much more likely than this unit ending up on the charge path. So hit them here. They'll evade us. And yep, as I expected, they've gone straight into a flank trap. Now try and fragment them with our both. Oh, they're low on ammo. Right, hit them as hard as you can, then at least we managed to get a fragmentation. You are screwed. So just try to survive for as long as you can. We'll get the flank attack here. Now this is it. Now these units here are they all low on ammunition? No, they aren't. If you move to there, can you still change your facing? Okay. And you can move to there. Right, we might be able to get a disruption on these irregular foot. Between the two of them, we should... Oh, that was enough. Which is excellent news for us because it means I can turn and menace those alien chariots. I can't quite get into charge range of them this time. Unless we do this. Because this unit might get disrupted, in which case I need a spare to come in and do the finishing blow. Okay, held firm. This is obviously a mess. They are at least all pursuing. That unit has stopped. In fact, that unit is coming back towards the battlefield. They're up against the general, so they're not going to win, and they're about to auto break anyway. You're still pursuing. I actually wish I'd brought someone else to continue this fight. Oh, right, okay. Right, bring them in. No, couldn't even cause the cohesion test. Right. Well, against the regular foot, you guys have a pretty good chance. What does that look? You know what's best than a pretty good chance? An excellent chance. They are by far the most exposed unit. I'll give them the general because they're about to get hit by the close order foot. Try and smash them. Turn to cover that. Well, no, I probably want them to continue facing the Syrian spearmen. Right, so we're holding steady here, but I don't know about our long-term chances. We need to try and do something with the chariots to break them. This is our real opportunity. This is where we can win the battle. Now we can fragment that unit there. It's going to take 3 units of archers apparently. Okay, that's them fragmented there. Soften them up so their cohesion test is worse. 2 fragmentations. For some reason that only took 1 volley. Crash into them here. Should send the whole line scattering. We might even panic the archers behind. No, they held firm. Right. Since they are just at the end of the day a regular foot, we will hit them. And you know, enough cowering on the hill. We're coming for them. That's all fragmented. They've disrupted. We are moving out to menace those archers next. Now, I'll need to get my archers out of the way of these infantry. Hopefully the fight going on here will delay them somewhat. What I'll do is I'll move to here so that if they want to attack this tile here, they're going to have to pursue. That might mess up their facing. So that will give our archers hopefully a bit of room to escape here. And that's it. We're winning now. We are going to win this battle. Short of a black miracle, as I call them. I don't mind enemies rallying up as long as they're not directly in my face or they're not coming back to the field. I was expecting that. So they're not stupid enough to try that again. I managed to push my chariots away. There's a few concerning things going on there. They decide to go directly into my light javelin. That does make sense. It's probably what I'd do. See, they might be able to hold us in the river. Because it's a large stream, and that's therefore non-open terrain. So the skirmishers may sacrifice themselves to try and slow our army down. If your skirmishers decide to make a really stupid stand, they're actually doing their jobs. What they're trying to do is slow the enemy down and inconvenience them long enough for the heavy units to maneuver and get an advantage. So, obviously sometimes they do it at the wrong time, but that's all about managing your forces. We cracked them. I think we might be about to sweep this unit with them. I think the entire end. I think that's it. I think the battle might end now. If it doesn't end now, then we're going to end it next turn. They've burned 37%. Our chariots are moving into what I would describe as a bad situation. Move to here, and I want to hit them with this unit, chariot unit first. First of all, make sure that they don't end up. So yeah, hit them from here. It couldn't cause a cohesion test. Charge. Nothing. You know what? That's okay, because there's more fun coming to join the party. Come round from this angle here, because otherwise you're not going to be able to. You might not be able to bounce back. You might get blocked. You might start to block one another in, which means I wouldn't be able to use you, and then I would be very sad. Alright, that unit is close to auto braking. Not auto braking rather, but just braking due to fire. So, No, what to do is just move away. You guys have done your job. Try to just escape with your lives. Because I could have gone after them, but then they would probably have just been swarmed by heavy units. Why throw my men in? Why throw their lives away now? They've done their job. Right. Obviously those archers are an issue. We do have chariots pursuing through. They might be able to help us with that situation. I need to stop messing around with these massed archers and try and get someone through to help with the situation. Right, fire at the Syrian spearmen. Can you hit them as well? No, you're just going to have to do your best here. We managed to cause a cohesion test, but we haven't managed to get an advantage over them yet. If I charge in here, then I might beat the irregular foot, and it's probably better than getting shot to death by massed archers. If I'm wrong, then they will eventually flank us and kill us. I think we have to take the opportunity. So they're fragmented, we should get rid of them in time, because these guys, yeah, they're running out of time. That has, however, allowed me to get another hit on the Syrian spearmen, so they are taking far more casualties from arrow fire than we are right now. That's about to change, though. You guys are probably not going to take part in the battle anymore. Thing is, they all just end up we need to get away from the enemy chariot force. But don't move to there, move to there, move into open space. You know the story there. This situation is obvious. Right, this is where we have the chance to end the battle now, though. See if we can break them there. And we do. And everything starts to crumble for the enemy. They're at 40%. If they can't, well, but we're not at a high enough rout percentage yet. Take general up and press through. See if you can shatter those massed archers. Didn't even win the battle. Right, into the stream. No mercy. They're blocked in by their own light javelin, so they can't fall back. Now that doesn't mean that things are going to go entirely our way. We actually need to evacuate from the hill, because these close order fighters are going to come and fight are going to come and get us. Yeah, move. Okay. Now keep the archers away, maintain our formation. This is about to go wrong, so just get the archers out of there. Okay, they've managed to hold on for another turn. That will give my guard commander a chance to get out. And that's it. I've done everything I can. You finally stop pursuing. You stopped in the worst possible place. But if one more enemy unit breaks now, it's over. So if either of those archer units panic, actually I think I need 2 more routes. The enemy do have a big force. When these guys go, which I need them to go next turn. Yeah, they've blocked in these guys in the rough ground. Good, they're getting distracted by the chariot battle. Oh, that's a miracle. Because we were really about to get it in the neck. So they're obviously threatening our flanks here, but we should bring down those archers before it becomes a real problem. Okay, they're going to pursue us. Good, that's got them into a nice little flanking pocket. Disrupted. Well, it's fine, we're still... The thing is, every route pushes us further away from victory. Get out of here. Right. Right, hit them hard, see if you can cause them to wobble. They panicked. So they're gone. Can we break them here? They are gone, and now we've won. We've won, assuming, of course, that the enemy doesn't manage to rout any of our soldiers next turn. Okay, we've disrupted them. Turn around and face the music here. We're going to take a lot. The guard are going to have to absorb a lot of fire. Unfortunately, my other archers don't really have anything to shoot at. They do have this target here. You should be able to turn to face. And you go after their... You know what? Go after the light javelin. So that's one unit that won't be harassing us very effectively. I'll actually bring this group back and try and draw some fire off of the guard. Because they're not very well positioned here. That's going to be on even terms. Height-wise, at least. Obviously, we've still got the quality advantage. If you move to here, they won't be able to move past you. Charge and hope we don't get a sudden... Okay, disruption. That unit here can move in and deal the killing blow. Unfortunately, that means I'm not going to be able to attack the archers this turn. Well, sort of. Because they are still unarmoured, and yet that's what we wanted to see happening. You guys can't really move anything dramatic this turn, so we'll just try and break the archers here. I forgot that I shot. I was going to try and charge them as well. This really isn't a place we want our chariots to be, but they don't. They've got nowhere to fall back to. They're just going to have to stand as best they can. Shoot them in the face then, and since you're there, you may as well shoot them as well. Okay, facing doesn't really do us any favours here, because we're going to have to evade anyway. In fact, all of these units are in a bad position. Get the general out of here, and these units will have to hope they somehow manage to escape all of this. At least since they're mounted, they do have a chance. Now go for the disruption on these stubborn spearmen. They've held firm. 62%. And the archers are now coming in against us. So we are going to go down here if we can't get help in soon. They're probably out of command. Right, move around to the back of this group. Because I don't think, if they're out of command, they're not going to be able to stop this. Since they can't avoid the flank attack, I'm not going to commit to melee anyway. They've held on for now, but they will also break. These are below average troops, and they'll take the general with them. Okay, this group is available to do something. Where are they? Oh goody, more death for this flank. Right, and these skirmishers have actually isolated themselves. So let's turn around and fight. Okay, a lot of different stories coming to an end in this battlefield now. Now, if nothing routs on our side, we win, which will save my men on this hill. But that's a big if. Of course, it also follows if anything else routs on their side, but I don't think any of their vulnerable units are actually in melee now, with the possible exception of this group. Good, they just blocked their own flank attack. They head out. That was probably their last batch of javelins. Okay, archers choose to ineffectually fire instead of saving their friends. Archers were not cowards, but those particular archers were. There's a particularly annoying trope in storytelling of the cowardly archer. Here, the enemy chases all over the field, but they get absolutely nowhere. Well done. Yeah, I'd be worried for a second there. And we even get some last minute rallies as our men realise we've won the battle. That was Megiddo and the Egyptian side. Now, I made that look easy. It was not easy. If we have a look at the battlefield here, normally what happens to me is that either I won't win the chariot battle quickly enough and they'll end up getting disrupted by these infantry coming in here the left will start to advance. You can see that we were getting overwhelmed here. That's why I was so pessimistic about our chances. We always do lose this fight. It's just a question of how valiantly we go down. Things can go wrong on the hill if the enemy manages to bring their missiles to bear. If the skirmishers get the better of you too quickly, then what you can end up is having to endure a shower of missiles. Because look, none of these skirmishers, except for this group, are actually low in ammunition. None of these massed archers were low in ammunition, and that's because we did our job. We managed to get to grips with them early, we managed to get a few lucky disruptions against infantry, and we brought them down. Had they managed to get into position to shoot our units, if we hadn't formed up on the hill as carefully as I did, then this would have gone badly. So as I said, I did manage to win the battle once this time, just playing it casually without the pressure on me. So you need to win this chariot battle here quickly, or at least somewhere, because I kind of half won it, half lost it, mostly won it in the end. You have to hold out here and try and inflict as many losses as you can, and then you have to win over here, because if you lose this battle where you have the most favourable conditions, then there's no hope for your army. You're just going to fail. Anyway, folks, I've been Napoleon Complex. Thank you for watching this, and I will see you in the next one. Farewell.